Sitting here, one of the things that you can do when you're trying to communicate with the spirits is you ask them for a sign. And if you think about it and you're quiet and you focus and you ask them to give you a sign, sometimes you might hear a random knock, or something might move, or something might get knocked over. Maybe we should try that.
Marysville is a great place to live and have a family. However, there is a lot that goes on in this small town. Tonight we're going to be looking into the creaks and bumps in the night. Some might say unexplainable. These are the paranormal stories of Marysville, Kansas.
Hi, I'm Tori Butler. I have worked at the Kester House probably since I was 20 years old, or started working there when I was 20 years old as a waitress for the people that ran it at that time. It was a restaurant, and there's a hallway that goes back from the dining rooms to the kitchen. And along that hallway is a door that leads into one of the dining areas, which was formerly a bedroom. And as you walk down that hall, taking orders to the kitchen or whatever, there would be someone sitting in there, and I never realized someone had gone in there, so I would back up and go see if I could help them, and there would be nobody there. And fast forward to several years later, I took over managing they had put in a bar in the basement called the Oak Door Bar, and one day I was behind the bar getting deposit or whatever out, and as I was walking out from behind the bar, I took a step back because I felt and saw this wisp go across in front of my face, and it just made me stop in my tracks and lean back. It was such a heavy presence, and when I looked, there was nothing there. And I'm like, okay.
There's no doubt that Tori's story was unusual. Could this be an example of the unexplained? Our next stop is the Marshall County Sheriff's Office, where paranormal activity is said to have happened.
There was one evening where it was getting ready for shift change, and in the dispatch office there was deputies from the shift that were getting ready to go off, and then deputies who were getting ready to go on shift, and they were in dispatch. And there's a full metal door on the east side of the jail here, and they heard the door open and close, and the door's locked at all times. And then they heard what sounded like keys, like old keys rattling, and they heard boot steps, and the steps walked down the hall, and they kept going, and the keys kept rattling back and forth just like they were on somebody's belt. And it got to the dispatch room, and they just stopped. One evening during the winter months, there was snow on the ground, and one of the officers went out the south doors of the jail, and snow fell on them, just fell on their head. There's no ledge. They looked up, and there was nothing. So then there was another officer that was on the east side, like where the east doors are, and then there's that wall, the brick wall, and that was covered with snow. And he came up the sidewalk there, and he came around, and then as he was walking back down on the sidewalk, the snow just like somebody pushed it. It looked like somebody pushed the snow. And they've got that on video on the surveillance video, because they were trying to figure out who was throwing snow. And you can see the snow fall and see the snow fly on the video, but there's nobody else out there with the officer.
These were all examples of the unknown. Whether you believe or not, these mysteries will remain unexplained. However, there is one thing that is still certain, and that's this small town has more than what meets the eye. For more events and details, go to visitmarysvilleks.org.
Sitting here, one of the things that you can do when you're trying to communicate with the spirits is you ask them for a sign. And if you think about it and you're quiet and you focus and you ask them to give you a sign. Sometimes you might hear a random knock, or something might move, or something might get knocked over. Maybe we should try that. If anybody's here with us, can you give us a sign?